People, come on, because I've changed the time. Morning, Dax. Good morning, Ella. I'm glad you're back.
It's 10 o'clock.
Good morning, Adriana. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Maverick. I hope people got the note, posted it several times, that we're at 10 o'clock this morning. Good morning, Lucy and Molly. Good morning, Lila. Good morning, Alexis and Eliza. Good morning, Avery. How old is Avery? Old, I guess I should say older or younger sister. Wait a couple more minutes just because I changed the time and people might be a little surprised. Good morning, Hannah. Morning, Daphne, Maddox, and Amelia. She's 8. My Sam is 8. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Brooke. Good morning, Lila, sister. Good morning, Charlie and Ava. Miss you guys. One more minute and then we'll get started. But as you know, we are doing the deliciously magical Mythological Forest. And the reason I added that beginning part is because I wanted to do a little bit of silliness with some food art in our drawing as well. And what I'm thinking about doing is I'm drawing a food item with each animal or creature. And then before I fill in all the background and everything, I'm probably going to do some sort of like raining donuts or a pile of flowers of lollipops or something like that, just to add more fun and silliness and colorfulness to the piece. So what we're going to do today, just like we do every time we start a new scene, is I'm going to show you how I pictured my background. Now what's probably going to happen is you might need 2 of these, and I'll probably do a second one that's very similar to the first. So no real difference, not like the aquarium or our dinosaurs last week when we had 2 different kinds of spaces. Good morning, Addison and Juliet. I think we'll just make, if we need more room, you just make a second forest. But we don't want to draw all of our trees at once because then we will have to work around the trees for our animals. I'm going to sort of fill them in as I fill in animals. So we're going to start with a background that's going to have several layers, sort of like we've done with the farm, what we did with the dinosaurs, just to give you more space so it's not just one level of animals so they can kind of go back into the scene. And we're going to start with a couple of trees. So let me pause my music and get your paper and your pencil. And we're going to start with 2 side trees. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to put a tree on this side and a tree on this side. And all it really is just a curved line. And to make it definitive as a tree, you might add a few branches. Of course, erase that line. And I'll put a branch over here. Actually, this is the branch that I did one of our animals on today. Erase that line. I also added a little hole that I can either add an animal in or maybe some food items. So let's start with that. We'll just hold this up for a minute so you can get caught up. So just 2 trees on either side that sort of frame the page. And if we made another one, you could make another paper right next to it with maybe the other part of the side of that tree and continue on the same way. So they can lay out next to each other very easily. Give it another minute, and then I'm going to show you how to layer the background. And then I am going to lightly show you how more trees will go in, but don't do that part. So we're just going to make some lines that divide up this paper. So let's make one here. Sort of like that. So we have, right now it looks sort of like, I can't remember what that's called. Brooks, what is it called in music when you have the things and you put the notes on it? Staff. Brooks, my musician. It looks like a music staff right now. But we're going to make it look like a forest. So this is how I want you to leave it for now. All right, so nobody do what I'm about to do. Because I just want to show you, because right now it kind of looks a little strange. It's very glary. Let me see if I turn off this light. That helps. I'm going to show you what we're going to do later, but don't do this next part, okay? I'm just going to add trees to the different layers. So if I added a tree here, maybe one over here, then I might add a tree that ends here, maybe one that ends here. And then I might have a bunch of little trees in this back area. Sort of fill in my forest. And the trees will get smaller as they go back. But I don't want you to draw these yet. These are something you're going to fill in later. So you can see it start to look more like a forest when you add all the trees. But if you add them in now, then you have to draw around them and erase. And so we're just going to wait. So we're just going to have our blank middle for now, and we'll fill in trees around our characters later. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So we're going to start, and each animal, today we're doing 3 individual animals, and each individual animal has its own food. And a couple times this week we're going to do a pair of animals that are sharing something, but today it's each his own. Hey, Jax, after you do that, could you bring me Hank? And we're also going to mix it up. Some animals are going to be real animals that you would find in the forest, and some are going to be mythological animals that are not real. Jack, wait now, please. Thank you. So we're going to combine both. Today we're doing 2 mythological animals and a real animal. But first, let's see everybody's favorite real animal. Oh, goodness. Somebody's really wild right now. I know. Okay. Everybody, Shishi Da. Oh, everybody from Lisbon, remember Shishi Da? I haven't said that in a long time. Here's Hank. Here's Sam. Okay. Nope, Sam doesn't want in. Hank wants to lick me. So Hank doesn't want any parts of... Oh, there he goes. Now he's looking. Oh, he's so jealous because Ziggy is over there getting some pets from Jack. All right, so we'll see Hank again later in the drawing. You want to get down? Okay. All right. So we're going to start with a real animal. And it's probably going to sit up on one of those branches that I talked about. Okay, so we're going to start, and I know we've done one of these before when we did our farm, but I'm drawing it a different way today, and I'm giving you some different facts. Oh, I have hair all over me now. So we're going to talk about the great gray owl. And the reason I chose that is because it's the world's largest owl, and it lives in forests. So it fits in our theme, and a lot of our mythological creatures are oversized or combinations of other great animals or just strange combinations. So I thought picking the biggest owl would sort of fit with our theme as well. And they have yellow eyes, so I thought that was a little odd and creepy. So that'll be really cool to add to our forest. And they eat small rodents, so we are going to be drawing some rodents this week, so we just have to be careful, make sure that they are safe in their area. And they have excellent hearing. I think we learned about that from our barn owl. And in the wild, the males are the primary hunters, so they primarily hunt for those small rodents, and they eat whatever rodents are available in their area. So whether that's chipmunks or squirrels or moles or mice, whatever they can find. And then, so the males primarily hunt, the females guard the nest and the eggs. All right, so let's do this owl. All right, so we're going to start with the eyes. I just realized on my final I did this to my eyes a little bit backwards, but that's okay. I'm going to follow my original drawing. So we're going to do 2 circles for the eyes. And then draw a smaller circle inside. And then this area, you're going to fill in black. Or if you're using pencil right now, you can just sort of shade it in. You know that you're going to fill it in black later. Good morning, Ellie and Ben. Well, that's why you just erase the lines, Ella. If there's lines that are in your way, you'll just erase them. That's why I suggest drawing everything in pencil first. Erase everything that's in your way, and then go over everything in either pen or black colored pencil. Yes, I put my owl on the branch on the tree. So that's where I put it. There's no requirement, but that's where I put mine. All right, so then we're going to add a line in between and big ovals around the eye. And in these big ovals, that's what you'll color in yellow. Then from the eyes, we're going to make a little point down. That's its beak. And then a little circle underneath. All right, and then we're going to make the owl's head. So you're just going to kind of go around the eyes like this, and then let's go ahead and make his body, and his body's going to kind of go to the side. So we're going to add the tail, and the tail's just going to come off of that opening. Crunching something. What are you crunching? Oh my gosh, you got another Lego piece. Hank is telling that office thing might be too close to the edge because he had another flower in his mouth. Okay, and then we're going to add the wing, and the wing's just going to go on the right side. And it's going to have some feathers that are like U's or W's over and over again. He might have another piece of it because there's a piece missing. So you can try it. Now we're going to add the talons. And of course, if you have it on the branch, you can sort of sit those on the branch. Now we're going to add a little bit of texture to the body, so a couple of lines on the tail here, some talon marks, some chest feathers. So for the most part, this owl is done, but as you know, this is the deliciously magical forest, so it needs... Okay, the 3 lines we drew are just going to be for how we put the different animals in the background, sort of like when we drew the different hills for the farm. We had different areas for the animals to sit. So it's sort of, you can make them look like they're going back into the forest. So make sure that at first are erasable, so that when you draw an animal on it, if you need to erase it, then you can do that. So that's just so we can lay out the animals a little bit better. Okay, so now as we have our owl here, he's going to be eating a lollipop. And how we're going to do the lollipop is we're going to first draw it, and then I'm going to show you how to put the owl wing sort of tucked around it. So we're going to start with a circle, and let's make it relatively close to his head. That's the top part of the lollipop. Now to make it a little bit 3D, all we're going to do is draw a line just to the right of it. And then back in again. So then it sort of has a little bit of a 3D look to it. Then we're going to draw the stick, and the stick is just a line down. And I just made it a double line to give a little bit of thickness. Now there's lots of ways that you can decorate your lollipop. You can make it have a smiley face on it or stripes. I personally like the one that looks like a swirl. So all you're going to do is start in the middle and spiral a line out. Until you can't spiral anymore. My pen sort of slipped a little bit, but you get the idea. Now to add the wing, the wing come from this side. So you're just going to make it round here and round here. Step 1. And we want to make it look like the feathers of the wing are sort of bent around. So you're just going to do like the W's like that. And of course you would erase all that in there because the feathers bend around it. I'm going to hold this up here like this so you can see. And I think I don't know if I wrote it down, but the feathers of this owl, well, it's called the great gray owl. So the feathers would likely be gray or of different shades of gray. But I did not make mine gray because I want to make this whole thing very fun and colorful. So I made mine turquoise and light blue, but I did do the yellow eyes because I thought that was cool. And then I made my lollipop, sort of the turquoise, pink, and blue swirls. Hold this up for just another minute. Okay. So our next one is a mythological creature. And as I was doing a little bit of research on this, it made me think of the Legends book don't know if anybody on here is a fan of the Legends book that's in my classroom that I often have to hide because it became a little bit of a problem that everybody wanted to look at the Legends book at once because it was all about dragons and griffins and things like that, and everybody wanted to look at it. So maybe you're one of those people who really like that book. So anyway, we're doing the first mythological creature we're doing is the Griffin. And it's a legendary animal, that's what made me think of the book, that has the body, tail, and back legs of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle. And then it has eagle talons on the feet. So the lion is considered the king of beasts, and king of mammals. The eagle is considered the king of birds. So it's a very powerful and majestic creature. And it's known for guarding treasures and priceless possessions. Now we're going to draw this griffin, and his priceless possession that he's taking care of is a donut. So he's going to be the griffin is eating a donut. As I drew him in my final, I only drew one donut with him. But like I said, when I'm finishing up, when I'm, on the last day when we're sort of filling everything in, I'm going to probably put more donuts around him. I could even draw a donut box. So you can have plenty of donuts. Maybe I'll give him a cup of coffee. Who doesn't like coffee and a donut? Okay, so let's start with this griffin. We're going to start with the head. And like you said, the head is the head of an eagle. So we're going to start with a coming down, a little bump, and kind of a hook, squared off beak. No, I can't really explain that shape, so I'll just have to draw it and then you can copy it. And then we're going to make that into, it's sort of like a feather ear. We're going to do another one on this side. And then some feathers that are just little triangles, like that. So this one's a little bit more complicated, and it was hard to find, some ideas for how to break down a drawing. So I'll take it one step at a time. I drew my griffin on the ground. Actually, it's in the foreground right next to the left tree. It's somewhat in front of it. Because the drawing I'm doing is of a griffin on, sort of sitting on all fours. It's not flying. All right, so then we're going to finish off this head by sort of laying out the beak. Do that part first.
Dude. Go.
And then let's do a big eye. And it sort of has this line that comes down over the eye. And then we're going to add a few more feathers that are going to be sort of his chest area. And it kind of go down his back a little bit. Now we're going to add a giant wing on the back. It's going to come up. I'm sort of put some lines in here. I guess it should have a line of a wing over here. I did not do that second wing on my final drawing. I just realized it should have one. I'm going to hold that for a minute. I made my Griffin sitting on the ground. So it's it's in the bottom left corner of my paper. Okay, now we're going to start adding these legs. And like we learned, the legs are of that of a lion. So we're going to add a front leg here. And then, like I said, there's talons, eagle talons on that leg. All right, and then we're just going to add another leg that's just behind it. You don't see all of it. You can have the talons coming out. I'm going to do that back leg. So it has more of a hind leg to it. And I think I drew mine with talons, even though it doesn't say that the back legs have talons, but I did mine have talons on the final drawing. And then the last thing it should have is a tail. And this is your Griffin. Now, like I said, being a donut. And I said that it was coming out of its mouth, or I just put it sort of coming out of its mouth. And I just made a donut come around like this.
Or anything like that. I'm going to call, make sure everything's good with my order. Last name is Giro, Giro. First name is Anthony.
And you can make another little 3D look to it by adding that same line that we did with the lollipop. Then he's eating a donut in his mouth.
I was just talking to him. He said this is supposed to be there tonight. And I was like, shit, I haven't even got the confirmation yet.
Okay, so now you see your Griffin eating his donut. And like I said, I'm probably going to give him some more donuts in my final later in the week. And then, but for now, I'm just going to give him the one. I actually realized I didn't put any sprinkles on my final. He needed some sprinkles on his donut. So I'm going to hold this up here just a little bit longer because I know this was a little complicated. Make sure everybody's caught up.
Yeah, actually, I tried it. I ordered a few different products 3 weeks ago when I started.
Okay. I'm sorry if there's too much background noise. My husband's on the phone right now, so hopefully he'll be done soon. Okay, so our last one I wasn't even thinking of this. Then I was sort of doing some research over the weekend of what we could do, because we can't have all giant animals and mythological creatures. So I was trying to think of some other smaller things we can do, and I came across this one, and this is a mythological creature, and it's called the jackalope. That was neat. It's a mythological animal. Could you just hold on 1 minute, please? Okay, sorry, I couldn't concentrate because it was so loud. Okay, so the jackalope is a mythological animal, and it is a jackrabbit mixed with an antelope. So it's mostly a jackrabbit, and then has antelope ears. And because of, antelope horns. And because of this, it's considered a fearsome critter. That's how it was described, a fearsome critter. And the jackalope appears in stories and TV shows and poems and video games. So it's a very popular, unusual mythological creature. But I think it's pretty cute. And I thought it'd be fun to create him with his bunny rabbit look and his horns, and then having him eat some cookies. We're going to have the jackalope eating cookies. Okay, so we're going to start with the head, and the head is going to be a circle and then sort of a little snout area, and obviously you're going to want to erase that line. I'm not going to put an X on it because I'm going to put some other things in the nose area, but you're going to want that to be one shape. Good morning, Nanny. And then we're going to add an ear. That's going to sort of be the back ear. An ear that's a little bit bigger because it's more facing open. Here, we're going to hold that there for a second. And now we're just going to make the lines for the horns or the antlers. We're not going to quite draw them yet. This is just going to sort of be the guidance of where they're going to go. We're going to go ahead and draw the body out. And then we're going to come back and do all the details on the face. So the body's going to have sort of a like a puffed chest area, and then go around here. And we're going to go ahead and give him a leg, or foot, I should say, here. I know I did a whole bunch at once, so let me hold that up. And you can see it has a real body of a bunny or a rabbit. Let's go ahead and give him a little tail. Too much of a tail. It should have a little puff ball of a tail. So now we're going to go ahead and give it a face. So on that snout is when he has a little bit of a nose here, and then the mouth kind of goes up like that. And then we're going to give him an eye. We're going to give him an inside of an ear over here. Remember I said you could see the inside of this ear, but the other ear is facing the other way. Now you're going to make the antlers. And the antlers appear to have 3 or 4 I guess, spikes off of the main antler. We are drawing a jackalope. So you can make these look however you want. Of course, I would erase those lines. They just should be antlers, however you see them to be. So he is also sitting on the ground. I actually have him in the front part, my front right. But he can go anywhere in your scene. And I'm going to give him not just one cookie, but I'm going to make a little plate of cookies. It's sort of like on a stand. I'm trying to think. Anybody that was in fourth grade, sorry, that is in fourth grade, and we make them steak or other desserts. So we're going to sort of put this on a stand. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second to get everybody caught up before we do the plate of cookies. Okay. All right, so all you have to do for making a plate is an ellipse, and that's the plate first. So the ellipse, or the oval, as you might, is the plate itself. So I sort of put the plate close to his mouth. And then to make it look 3D, all you have to do is 2 lines down, sort of making a cylinder, but a very shallow cylinder. And then this line that's curved at the bottom of your plate is the same curve you're going to use to connect those 2 lines. Then it looks like that. And you could leave it just like that if you put it on the ground, or I made mine on a little pedestal. So all I did was make a line here, and then this part kind of went off the page. So it's sort of on the bottom. And then, of course, you draw your cookies. Now, my cookies that I drew are chocolate chip, but you could do sprinkle cookies or whatever your favorite kind of cookies are. And you can overlap them so they can be in a pile. I just made mine a little bit puffy. That's okay. And then I just added some chocolate chips. And then you have a plate of cookies for your jackalope. All right, so I'm going to show my final now. Maybe it'll make a little bit more sense when I was talking about the lines. Okay, so you can see that I just have my lines there. It'll probably make more sense when I actually draw an animal back there. So you can see I added my owl to one of my trees sitting on the branch. And then my jackalope over here eating its cookies. And I made him gray because I thought that would be a true to life color. Well, they weren't really alive, but for the hair part of it. But then I wanted to give it some turquoise antlers because I thought that was fun. And then, of course, there's his plate of cookies. And then my Griffin, even though it does say body of a lion, head of an eagle, I didn't really want to do eagle colors. I sort of made them all sort of those warm lion-y colors. So I added some yellow and orange and red on the wing, and then, of course, his donut in his mouth. And then, like I told you, I was going to do I did the turquoise owl, and I realized I did the eyes, the middle part of the eyes backwards, but that's okay. So what's going to happen is that when we draw our animals tomorrow, I might put them in this section right here. So it might be two animals sharing something right here in the middle. And then they'll be on this plane. And then another animal I could maybe do way back here. So it's in this plane. So it'll sort of be laid out how our farm was, when our farm was like going back into towards the sky. All right, so I apologize for all the crazy changes last minute to 10 o'clock. So hopefully you caught it live. If not, it's going to be up on my page for forever and ever. I don't know where Hank is. But tomorrow and the rest of the week looks fine for 11 o'clock. So we'll be back at 11 tomorrow with 3 more animals and a couple more food, because we're actually having 2 animals that are sharing something and then 1 animal that's eating something by himself. Hank, come here. Let me see if I can get him. I got him. Big meats. Big meaty buddy. So have a great day. And try to get outside if you can. Enjoy time online with teachers if you're starting that this week or continuing this week. And I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bye. Hanky, say bye. Don't eat me, Hanky.